What is up? You're listening to Metal Massacre. As always, I'm the weirdo with the beardo, Lucian. With me, my cohort in crime, my compatriot in... I don't know. I lost it, man.
You lost it?
I put too much pressure on myself. I'm sorry.
That's fair. I was honestly...
I thought I could do it. I stepped up to the plate. And
I was scared to see where it went anyway, so this is
You
better.
were clenching
I was
over
looking
there.
at your heart. Don't you fucking say it.
You know what? I'm going to try it again on another episode, and I'm going to nail it. So...
All right, I believe in you.
But yeah, we're...
I'm doing fine. No, no, good to see you.
How are you? No. Yeah, it's been a minute. We haven't recorded like in this time in like a week or two.
A couple weeks at least.
Yeah,
but
we've been up to a lot.
Yeah.
Life's been crazy for the two of us.
When is it not? And so I got another show today, so we're just doing a tight little rundown to run you guys into today's interview.
That's right. You do have another show today.
Yeah,
Holy
I got
crap.
shit to do.
Literally almost every weekend you're playing.
We're playing the Harley dealership, boss.
Oh, are you really?
We're doing it's a benefit gig locally. I mean, I'll just shout it out because it's the thing, because it's weird. It sounds weird, but it's just called Mustaches for Kids.
That's cool.
And it's much like, how they like the mustache November, shave it off for men's awareness cancer. They did another one around here locally for Omaha, and even though this event's going to be long past by the time it's recording, they do them. I mean, like, they do events all year long, and it's, again, just like benefiting child cancer research, things like that, as far as I'm aware. So yeah, it's a good cause. We're happy to go play a benefit with before we die. So but yeah, no, regardless, normally we're just like, we're on the road, but that one was, since we're a charity, might as well shout them out. They're nice people. They're pretty cool. So
hell yeah,
that's going on. But
at a Harley dealership.
Hell yeah.
So are people shaving their mustaches at the Harley dealership? Is that what's going on?
I want to shave one burly man.
Is that what they're doing?
I have no idea.
I think that's a good idea.
I'd like to.
They should just be like, step on up and shave your mustache for cancer.
I think they're doing a poker run where they get on the bikes and they go to the bars and they do a poker hand or two, and they do the run where they drive around like a cruise, and then they come back to the dealership after going to like 4 bars, because I saw like their tour schedules going on to like Wahoo and like way out there outside of Omaha. But
do you know what they should do? They should get a bunch of bikers.
Okay, hear me out.
Okay, just listen to me here. Listen. Everyone just calm down. Listen. They need to get all these bikers to arrange their bikes so that when a plane flies over, it looks like a giant mustache driving down the highway.
Actually, hold on. Really good idea.
That would be amazing. Like a big curly, like... cowboy mustache, like a gentleman's mustache or whatever.
The big burly boxer, if you want.
I said cowboy. I meant like in that era, there's like the fancy, sophisticated guy that's like, I'm from England and sells mustache cream. Like, that kind of mustache.
Right. No, I guarantee they're not down for that, but I will pitch as hard as I can. But anyways, happy to be doing that kind of stuff, but we have a big interview today with Gorgatron that we're kind of just leading you into, so we're hanging out with you guys, and those guys are goofballs, but we'll get into that before we actually sign off to go into the interview. But
yeah, we got other shit to talk about.
Because every single week we can talk about our shows and what Molten's doing as much as we want, but we try and go out there like you should and see music.
Well, I don't try. Here's the problem, Dustin.
Well, that's why I said you should.
I don't, and I'm horrible at it. And I literally go to like 1 concert a year, maybe 2. And in the last year, I feel like my wife has just been like, no, fuck that. You're going to a show with me. Or
yeah.
And most people, can just sit home and be a loser. And I'm like, fuck, that's right. Like, I should go to a show. And so that's what happened a couple of days ago. Static X, Seven Dust, Dope. They all came to town with... There's another opener. I'm so bad at remembering names, but we missed the first opener because we literally were like, let's get tickets an hour before doors.
Yeah.
So like, we just went on Ticketmaster, bought a couple tickets for like $100-something, which I was like, whatever. And then we had, I don't know, it's just a really good time. So like, there's a parking garage on 12th and Capitol.
Yeah. And
I didn't know about that being Steelhouse parking. I had always parked on the other side of the old market and kind of walked. And that was really nice. And it's funny, we pay the $15 and we drive and the first stall is open. I was like, meant to be. So already I'm in a great mood. And we get in and we're like looking at merch. We buy some merch. We run into a bunch of friends and a bunch of people that knew Molten. We're like, oh my God, you're the vocals of Molten. And I was like, yes, I am. Like, hello. Would you like to have a drink? And so we were all just hanging out on the patio at Steelhouse. Like, I met a very nice gentleman that sells beard and tattoo cream. He was very nice. Shout out to Dob. Really good guy. But yeah, the show was pretty fun. Dope was the first band that we were kind of in around for, and
It was Lines of Loyalty. Just so we
Lines of Loyalty. Yeah,
them.
I heard they killed it, and I'm sorry I missed them, but you know, it was one of those last minute scenarios where you just, I'm gonna go whatever.
Yeah.
But Dope was really good, and honestly, dude, it took me back to that first Fast and Furious movie where they had one song in it, and it was like the scene where Brian is waking up from like sleeping with Dom's sister, and the cops are like busting into that Asian dude's house.
That's right,
and it's
dude.
like I don't care nothing about it.
Dude,
that song is called like Diabonaire. I don't know how to pronounce it, but
nah, Dope rules, man. Again,
it was really fun. Like I feel like when a band can play and bring you back to that time, and you feel like you're in the 90s, like for real, I felt like I was in 1999 when I heard that song, and it just didn't feel like it was 2024 at all. Like,
sure.
And I feel like that's such a powerful feeling that a band can give you, and like it was really cool. And then so they played that song. They played a couple other songs, all the hits essentially, and then at the end he's like talking to like the younger kids, and he's like, has anyone ever made a mistake in their life? And I'm like, oh my god, here we go. And I'm like looking at Anna, and she's looking at me, and we're like, where's this going? And he's like walking back and forth. He's like, long time ago, there's a movie called American Psycho, and you know, we were asked to be on that soundtrack, and we of course said yes because there was people like Bowie on it and all these other people, and the association would have been so great, and we wanted that. But we had to record this fucking song, and I've had to play it for the last 25 fucking years of my life, and I fucking hate it. So don't do stupid shit when you're young, kids. You think things through. And it was You Spin Me Right Round.
Oh yeah, the metal.
Yeah. Dope does that version, and you can tell they didn't want to play it because instead of playing the entire song, they played the first verse into the chorus into like not even like a solo or a bridge, just like this weird interlude for half a second back into the chorus and stopped.
Like, no, we're good.
We're not playing a full song right now. We're just gonna end the set with this like minute and a half version of the song and be really pissed about it.
Did you get your fill?
It was funny.
Have
dude.
a good night.
I was like, dear God, this is hilarious.
No, that's the best way to do it.
It was a good way to open up a show, and again, it brought you back to that like late '90s, early 2000s feeling, and you were just like, fuck, I feel like I'm in like middle school right now, you know.
It rules, dude. I mean, and again, I think I can't remember where I saw Dope. I know I've seen them though. It was at when Sokol was still called Sokol, but I'm trying to remember the tour they were on. It was again like opening for someone I really wanted to see. It might have been Helmet, but like Helmet rules. But anyways, no, they are always, you know, they're enigmatic in a weird way because it's. I'm dancing because I don't want to sound backhanded. Where it's like,
no, just say what you want.
It's like Bush for me, where as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh yeah. But I don't think about them. I don't think about them on a day-to-day basis.
They're not really that kind of band that you're gonna like go out of your way for a lot, to be honest. And that's why they were opening, because they're not really a headlining band.
Not in this day and age. But then as soon as you're there, you're like, oh yeah, I know like 4 of these fucking songs. I love them. Night.
So that was like the perfect like first band for us to see. There was no like, who are these guys? I've never heard of them. It was just kind of like, okay, cool. And like, I want to check out that opening band now and just kind of like hear their music.
Yeah, and, everyone I saw that was taking pictures were like, these guys fucking rule.
Yeah, they got a lot of good promotion.
It's good exposure.
So, yeah, I'm excited for them. But then Seven Dust played, and to be honest, I really didn't like them.
No,
I'm sorry. Like, I know we don't make it a habit on this show to talk about things we don't like, but I can tell where the appeal was. And for post-hardcore kids and people that like the sing scream style where it's 2 guys, I get it. But like, the one thing as far as the show is concerned is he tried so hard to command a presence from the audience.
Yeah.
And the audience essentially all but flipped him off the entire time.
Like, hey, we're here for Wayne Static.
He was like trying to get them to do the Wall of Death. Every time a beach ball that people were hitting would get up on stage, he'd like go put it backstage so they wouldn't have it. Like, you could just tell he was like, and he literally kept going, do you know who we are? Like every other song. He did it like 16 times. And then at the fucking like build up or like right where something, he'd be like, we are Seven Dust. And I'm like, listen, you could do that like twice.
Yeah, we know.
Okay? Yeah. You could literally do that twice in the beginning and in the end, and maybe that would be kind of weird, but like there's some symmetry to it. but you literally kept doing it the entire. It felt like you literally thought we didn't know who you were. Wow. I was like, bro,
we know
your name is on the banner. Like,
yeah, the cool.
It was funny. I don't know. Like,
I remember listening to Seven Dust and I loved them, but honestly, I wasn't gonna bring it up either. But like, it has nothing to do with them in specific. It just is a topic that I feel like we've talked about this before too, when we're trying to like build, because you and I, even though everyone in the band is put up in the front pedestal for Molten in specific,
right,
as we're building a stage act now, as we're starting to get to open for internationals, and we have a pretty good, like when we're going to open up and we have like a video wall, everything's at our disposal, we have the ability to play like professionally like that, but usually it's easier just to go fast and get on the stage and do your thing. So it's actually something I wanted to bring up, because we talk about with them in Gorgatron in this interview that we're going to get to in a little bit here, is like, you know, they're like, I'm not giving it away, but they kind of go into what they're talking about, what they do live on stage. Now, granted, death metal like that is a little bit different than like Seven Dust at an arena show.
Yeah.
But you and I have had this discussion where it's how I love personally when a band just goes up there and just fucking slaps you with music for like 40 minutes and then might say one or two things.
Yeah, you're not like, really one for the banter.
I don't want to talk like with the crowd. I don't want him to tell me how to like. Every time I go see Slipknot, I love it. But then I do the thing like, all right, everybody get down. We're going to jump up all at the same time. Like, I don't want to be the kid that's trying to act too cool for the room.
I get it.
I don't want to do that.
I get it. No, I get what you're saying, though. Like,
not because I'm 30.
Thing.
When I was 17, I didn't want to do it either.
Yeah. You've never been that kind of guy.
No, and so I never do that on the stage either.
At the same time, just because you don't like it doesn't mean there isn't a reason for it.
Oh, and people
like, and here's the thing,
people love it.
I think if a front man and a whole band has that stage presence, and the front man has that crowd voice, where it's like The Rock in the Attitude Era, like he could command a fucking arena to do whatever he wants them to do. If you have that, utilize it, but don't overutilize it. But also, there are so many frontmen that I've seen that think they have that.
And they don't.
And then they go off on this fucking tangent or this thing. And here's the thing. The longer you talk, the riskier it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you start talking about something that you know shouldn't be talking about, and then all of a sudden someone pulls out a phone and they're like, yo, the lead singer of Squash Bucket is a fucking asshole. Here he is on Facebook, and now your band is, everyone's like, who the fuck are these? You know what I mean? Like, it's so easy.
100% time and place. It's not a comedy show.
Yeah.
Like, I guess if you're going to go see Psycho Stick, it kind of is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and those guys are goofy on stage. It's very act
but like, dependent. Like, it depends on the act. Like, Necrogobicon, I will always bring that band up for stage presence because they have a fucking goblin. Mm-hmm. And they have little bits where they fuck with each other on stage, and the goblin fucks with them, and he asks a bunch of questions to the crowd. That is understood that that's going to be part of the show.
It's the carnival act that is.
Yes. So, like, there's that.
I do think, though, that, like, again, like you were saying, so again, we're not just coming back to shit on Seven Dust, but it's very much like, that's the thing that I don't want a bunch of. Like, if they do a tribute to Wayne, we're gonna get to Static X, I'm sure, but like, if they do a tribute to Wayne, or if like there's someone that's been like something funny, like, hey, 25 years ago I played a song that I shouldn't have, you know what I mean? Like, something like that. And like, if it's a minute and a half to make time while your people are tuning, I'm not saying that. Obviously there's an exception to every rule, and I've seen plenty of people, if I went and saw like Cher, I want her to tell me stories.
Yeah, like, it really depends on the act. But like, if it's just like,
you know who did it best? Fucking Judas Priest, man. Like, I went and saw Judas Priest, and that dude, speaking of Cher, had more costume changes than Cher would at one of her fucking shows. But the way that it was dictated was just like perfect for me, and something that and I guess I'm just speaking personally as well, because it's not what everybody wants, but like, they didn't really talk to the crowd very much in between, but he's coming up, and you know, it's Judas Priest, he's riding his fucking Harley up onto the stage, and is like, you know, he's a gay man in the biker leather kind of stuff like that, and he's changing costumes in between every song. They're playing a few different riffs and like giving you tastes of like other songs that they like, we don't usually play this one, but while he's changing, we're gonna play this for you. And like, they would like play like a couple riffs of a song they don't really play, or like a cover. That was perfect. It was perfect. It was enough banter to make you like, how y'all feeling? We all having fun still, like that kind of thing. And we're like, yeah, we're like, good, just making sure you're here.
Right.
All right, let's keep going, because we know you're here. We're fucking Judas Priest. If you don't like it, you can go.
Right.
You know, like, I was like, that's not. I don't like when it's gimmicks. I don't like when you're begging. I don't like when you're telling us like, everyone hands in the air and wave. I'm like, there's 36 people in this dive bar.
Right.
No one wants to fucking sway to get like, you know what I mean? It's just sometimes it feels like you're playing the crowd too much. If you're forcing them to do something or you're making them do it, it has to feel organic. It has to feel good.
I think that's what the problem was for me, was that he was just not the kind of guy, in my opinion, that like had that ability. Maybe it was just that night. Maybe he really does, and it was just not the night. You know, like who knows?
Yeah.
But like,
I like Seven Dust.
For me, it kind of just like took me out of the show a little bit. The music was okay. Like,
yeah, I'm a fan of it.
It just wasn't my style. I like heavier stuff. Like Static X is probably one of the lightest bands I like. You know what I mean? So like, even me at that show, it was like more nu metal than what I'm used to.
Yeah, and for me, it's right up my alley.
Yeah, that's why I was like, man, I wish Dusty could have come, because like it would have been fun. But I know you had to work at like 4 a.m. the next day.
I'm the lead trainer at a gym during my day job, and you got to work out when people can, and a lot of that time it means before the work shift. So I every Friday, I mean, like if I bail on it, let's be honest, as all of the trainers are like, fuck, I got the 5 a.m. tomorrow. Right. Like, but we got to do it because we get at least 10 to 15 people in there in a group guided session. It makes us, makes us money, it makes them happy, and it's a good workout. So like, but yeah, it's, if I was gonna be like, guys, can someone work the 5 a.m. so I can go drink beers with Wayne Static's corpse, essentially, in a cool way, and I mean that with love. Yeah, like, God, that's people will be like, what are those statements? No, you cannot.
Xero's really good, dude.
No, but Xero is awesome. So like, I want to hear about Static.
So yeah, Seven Dust stopped, and we went outside. We were having fun. We were just talking to people. We met our buddy Matt that we used to work with. So that was kind of fun. He's like a big Viking man that's just really loud and talks to everyone that walks by him. So it was like an interesting night. Fun. Shout out Matt Jensen. A shooter. I like it. Get in the mood.
It's Saturday. We record this on Saturday.
I was going to take that one, but I'm just not in the mood. I got a coffee in front of me.
You don't want any.
You've been up since like 4 a.m. I just woke up at 10.
9 p.m. to me, brother.
Cut me a break here.
Cut me a break.
But
I don't care what AM, PM, fuck off.
So Static X was really good. They had a very specific like stage presence, I think. Like they didn't have to do much, it felt like also they're the headliner, so like everyone's there to see them. Yeah. But they were really like tight. Their music was really tight. They didn't like have any mistakes. Everything was like technically sound. But like, dude, fucking Xero, the new guy, I feel like he blew my fucking socks off. Not only is the look really, really cool, and like some people would be like, well, isn't that kind of like fucked up? And I'd be like, no, it's like it's an homage.
Well, they went over this at the very beginning too, and I think a lot of people have explained this because it is one of the bigger stories in metal, period. Because unfortunately, like Wayne, I don't know what year it was, but it was like
2015, I believe.
Yeah, like I know it was over like 10 years ago almost, and because it was like really, he died and then Lemmy died not long after that, I believe, like a couple years.
It was like 2016 in December. Yeah, I believe. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
And then Tom Petty. That was like the three that I was like, stop.
Right.
Please stop. Like because I
apparently
love
like they've all been really old friends. Like even the Xero was like, I guess, friends with all of them way back in the day. So it's like it makes sense, And I like that you don't get to know who he is.
He nails it too.
Because like, oh yeah, dude, he sounds like 98% like Wayne Static. And then the new stuff, it's scary. It's like, it sounds like Wayne Static is in a new song sometimes. Yeah. Not all the time, but sometimes you're like, damn, he does the exact same shit that Wayne does. And I will never say he does it better, but he does it justice. And like the stage presence alone is just so fun. He doesn't come out and do the robot or some cheesy shit like that. Like he's just a dude in a crazy robot suit with red eyes and jumps around, has fun. They've got like bubble machines and like laser lights and all this crazy shit, and like a bunch of really cool wall light boards, which were just fun. And they had like a really cool tribute to Wayne during the song Cold, which I thought was fun. Like the chorus was like that shot of the camera spinning around his head while he's singing that like over and over as it went, which was like really cool. That I love when a band can like time a specific like light wall like kind of thing to their song, because it just makes it more of a music video. You feel like you're sitting in a music video more than like a concert, right? So it just kind of adds that aesthetic. When you're lucky enough, well, at that point as well, like it's kind of a professional courtesy to like you hire your own front of house to go on tour with you, so that you can work with the local sound guy to be like, what are the acoustics in here, what is the reverb like in here, like what can I dial in that I need to know about this venue and have you help me with. But for the most part, I'm gonna be running the rest of
this because I know exactly when they get into this
Yeah, they're
portion of the
timing it
song.
all out and looking at it. Yeah, and doing the lights, and I love that shit. The lights were cool. Like, I love Steelhouse Omaha. It's
Great
honestly,
venue. I said
it's
it once,
kind of the perfect venue for Omaha. Like, all the problems that like other venues have, that I feel like they've just solved them all.
Yeah.
And it's like, the only thing I hate is they don't take cash, and I'm just like, fuck you.
It's modern.
It's American currency. Take it.
Take my money.
It's literally legal. Like,
I know. And that's what does suck. I hate that. Like, there's a lot of places you go, but I mean, like, fuck, every time I go to California, like, I don't bring cash with me. I load cash into my card just so I can use Apple Pay off my phone for fucking everything, because even the little bodega's got a tapper now. So like, and you know, it's just, that's modern. I do agree though. The cash is king in my opinion, but like at the same time, no, I get it. That would be if that's the only gripe. I would tip
people in cash.
Whatever.
I'd just be like, I'm gonna tip you in cash, not on the machine, because it's always like crazy. Like, I'll tip a merch guy like $10 if I feel like he's a really nice guy and he really helped me out. But like sometimes you're like, damn, I don't want to tip the merch guy like $30, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, no.
Because those guys are making bank by the end of a tour. Like, god damn, you can make a fucking couple years fucking house payments on that shit. You know what I mean? If it's big enough. Like, some of them are coming out with like 50 grand at the end of these huge mega tours. Yeah, it's just like insane to think about. But like, I'll tip them cash. I feel like cash is always the way I want to go with tips. Yeah, because it's like you're just not gonna get taxed. They're just gonna pocket that shit and spend it on cigarettes or whatever they do.
And again, as a personal trainer, I mean, like, no one's listening, right? There's no, like, we're just talking to each other, right?
Wait, what? No one's here.
I mean, yeah, like, if I get a Venmo, like, I have a 1099 that I do some stuff with, and I also have a W-2 tax stuff. But like, at the end of the day, if someone's gonna fucking be like, can I just get 2 sessions? And I'm like, yeah, $100 cash. It's into my pocket, and it goes directly to rent. So like, who's the bad guy here? No, but like, no, I agree. And yeah, the Steelhouse is that exact. We said it before, and I know we're getting kind of local here, but that's where we're at. We're building the show, and like, the Steelhouse is the perfect bridge for when, like, I mean, even not just for metal stuff. Like, I think Duran's playing there like tonight, or
I saw a promo for that when we were in there. I was kind of like, it's so funny.
But like they could probably sell out the biggest arena in town, but it probably might not fill all the way out at this day and age. But they're not going to play the 1,000 seater or less.
It's for those places that are bigger than the waiting room and bigger than the Admiral.
Every town's got them.
It's like, we didn't have that before the Steelhouse, really.
There wasn't the 5,000.
And now we have Astro and Steelhouse. I have not been to Astro yet. I wanted to go this year, but I might. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can.
Really cool place. I went there a couple times while I was getting set up and doing some other stuff. But then also, my wife's been there for a couple of shows. Like, she went to see like a pop artist and a country artist there.
I'm just not into outdoor amphitheaters.
No, but because I mean, like, it is a different feel. It's a different vibe. It feels more like a festival, even if it is a tight knit show.
Yeah, I'm not really into that.
No,
I like being in an air conditioned hall where I can be like, oh, there's 3 bars here, cool.
But like, no, 100%. But then also, let me sell you on this. It's like where she just went to. My wife just went to Sum 41. Yeah, dude, it was like, like 80 degrees out in the sun. Sum 41. Yeah, everyone's partying like they're 20 again. Yeah. Like that's. I mean, like, you could see them inside. It would be great. But like, there was like 4 outdoor bars.
There's definitely some bands that are better outside.
Yeah, dude, pop punk in the summer heat, good time, man.
And I wouldn't even like be opposed to seeing Static X like this show outside, but like.
I'm playing outside today,
I feel
brother.
like the sound, like just the sound in Steelhouse is so much better.
Yeah, it's controlled when you have the indoor gigs.
Than most venues that I've been to. Like, most venues, there's too much bleed. Mm-hmm. And there's too much just like blurred lines between everything that you're supposed to hear. But like, you'd go outside, like in the hallway where you're getting merch and the bar and all that, and it literally sounds like there's speakers like under the wall, like above the doors, so you can kind of still hear what's going on, and it sounds like they're just playing the fucking track out of Spotify on the speakers.
Yeah, it sounds
like,
good.
It sounds so fucking good. And then you go in, you're like, holy fuck, it's like crystal clear. Like, I barely ever have an experience like that. Like, let alone playing shows. Like, there's maybe 3 fucking shows we played in the last 2 years where it was like, I felt like the sound was perfect.
Yeah, it's very hard to get that, especially out of a bar.
It's the constant struggle of what is your equipment, what is your knowledge, and what are you working with?
Yeah, like, you go play, and especially, let's be honest too, you just said it, like, you listen to heavy music. Like, there's not many shows or things you're going to or listening to live that aren't pretty heavy, and there's a lot of cymbal work. Yeah, there's a lot. Metal is very specific.
It's very tuned into a specific, like, here's what it needs to sound like live.
And where does it's
easy to fuck up.
Where does a lot of like not like tour celebrity level metal get played?
Yeah,
in
like bars and clubs.
And what are bars full of? like cement ass floors and fucking like, so you get the baffle of shame on your drums for your drummer actually wanting to play hard. Everyone turn down. Like there's just fucking reverb everywhere. It sucks, but like that's why a great sound man can make or break a show for the audience, because the true fans, honestly and earnestly, they're going to be standing right up front. Yeah. Now that gives two things as we're trying to kind of wrap this up. Two things. One, not shitting, but I definitely still prefer playing live, meaning live drums, live guitars on amps. Now, there's like the one band that I'm playing with today, we have some backing tracks. We have a little bit of like electronics. We have some like weird sound noises that like we don't have a fucking orchestra or a keyboard player, so we're gonna put those in the tracks along with the click for our drummer. But everything we're playing to you is being played there. That's not the argument. It's the fact that then if someone old school wants to stand right in the front of the stage with you, you don't have a Marshall cab blasting them and letting them hear that. Everything's coming out of the PA because everything's going into in-ears or it's coming out of the house. So the only thing that's like, because I mean, like, if you go see a newer band, which again, a lot of us do, like the last time, but honestly, we're like doing the last bands. I'm not going to name names for any reasons, but not trying to not plug or shit on. It's nothing to do with that, but just to keep it easy. One of the last bands that Before We Die played with, that headlined it, I really was impressed with the drummer as I was standing back and packing up our merch when they first started playing. And I knew that because they're all digital, that I was like, well, if I just go to the side stage where the green room is, I'm going to be behind all the PAs, and the only thing I'm going to be able to hear is drums and the singer, because he's actually like projecting out of all the stuff so that the wedge can hear him. So if I was standing in the front of the stage, all you're going to hear is the drums the whole fucking time. Now, I'm not saying that's a negative thing, but so that it also, I guess, to kind of round out this thought, is it's very room dependent, but it's also very band dependent. Yeah, for sure. Like if Molten goes up there with our full fucking stack cabs, you know where you want to be? Right in the front. You want to be up in us where you can hear the vocalist just yelling what he's yelling, and where you're getting a wall of actual bass that you can feel in your face, shake your chest. Now, that's not to say that you can't do that with all the digital stuff and that your tone can't be great, but you want to be a little farther back. Which is why, like, if a band that's all digital has a stage where there's the, the security in the front and like the gates, like the gates up from the front, oh, that's gonna sound great because you're pushed back and everything's being honed into the PA. So places like the Slowdown here locally, where if you're playing the main room, there's gonna be the barriers. And if you're on the barriers, you're not touching the stage. So then it's honing all of those giant PAs and the giant speaker wedges that are like usually like kind of fanned out in the ceilings. Everyone in the crowd's going to get the same experience because it's being produced front of house. And if you really are a death metal head or something, you want to be right up against the cage, right up against the singer, then you're also going to hear that live as well, which is why I still prefer lugging a fucking 810 MPEG amp up some goddamn stairs if I have to, because the people in the front that are truly up there, showing the horns and yelling in your face, they're whatever member that they were able to ever squeeze up to, if they wanted to listen to the singer, if they wanted, you're a bass player, I want to see the bass player, you're directly in front of their gear and you're getting blasted exactly with what they're playing. But if you're just a random person, or like I usually do, and I'm like, I want to check this band out, I go stand right next to the sound guy because he's the one mixing all the whole house's sound. It's going to sound the best. That's the old school trick. We all know that one. So like, the digital question adds a lot into it for me for that way. It's how I think about live shows, and it's why when we thought about going digital for Before We Die, personally, we were like, no, we're still going to play live amps, but we're going to track all of that stuff into the house, and we're going to try and create the PA shape so that no matter where you are, whether you're a metalhead right in the front that wants to scream and bang your head in the front, you're someone in the pit, or you're someone in the back that's just there to support your friends, you're going to get the experience you want out of that sound. You can get pounded with it up front, you can feel the whole thing by the sound guy, or it sounds like the album version in the back. And what you want is still there, which I feel lacks when you, unless you're playing a festival, unless you're big and you're playing to like 10,000 people and everything's going to be PA'd then anyways, because you're not going to hear that 410 cab way back there.
I think that's the thing about Steelhouse though, is like it's perfect for sound.
Club playing even at that level.
It's above a club, but it's below a stadium. It's a Claydium.
Yeah, it's Claydium.
It's a Claydium.
Well, it's a nice theater, but also but it's the way that they've acoustic that place is that
perfect.
When people come out there with live amps and live drums, you get that exact same 3-step thing I was just thinking.
But you
about.
also don't have to like have big giant amps to sound good there. Like a lot of these professional, like Def Clock, they don't have a bunch of fucking amps like right up there on you. Like if they do, you can barely see them. You know what I mean? It's like it's a whole nother thing. But like Static X, I'm pretty sure they were all DI'd in.
Yeah, and that's perfect for them as well.
Because they were just like wireless DI, we'll have a couple pedals, boom, there we go. We're going to run around and be weirdos. You know what I mean? Like, now, and if they did have amps, they were probably hiding behind
in the back
something. But
like when we played with Saul, who's getting locally bigger, like around here for sure. Shout out to those guys because they're playing festivals. They're nice dudes too. They're good people. They're from Sioux City. Like, shout out to them. I'd love to get them on the show if they hear this. But Saul, when we played with them years ago, when they were still doing clubs before they're at the point where they're at now, and that's honestly, it was showing my age, but it's like when the Helix head rushes were first coming out, like all these digital, when everyone was starting to like really find it mainstream to be digital, they had that, but they also still had amps, and they just put them in the green room. And they did everything digital, but they were still miking and toning and gathering sound from a live amp. Now, was that being blasted from the stage? No, it was all in the house. But where they gathered that sound from, instead of emulating it entirely, was from a natural warm tube amp. And then but then Bluetoothing it, for lack of a better term, to where it needed to be in the house. So like there are ways to get around it. I bet you a band like Static X, or even in this day and age, even though if Slayer puts 75 Marshall amps on the stage, not all of them are plugged in. They're going digital. But like,
I'm telling you, that new guy, he just fucking blew it out of the water. This band had a stage presence I wasn't expecting. And like even the bassist was like doing what you do and shit. And it was funny. I kind of noticed that similarity. Like Xero was the hype man, and he was like singing and getting everybody into it and talking and being a goofball and like just doing awesome stuff. And then the bassist would just like come up and thank all the bands and be like, "Hey, thanks for coming out, guys," and like talk to them, and like they'd talk back and forth. And there was a nice dynamic there where you knew these guys had all been friends their whole life. Like you could feel that. And when there's like a whole nother presence in the room, and the energy was just like every band, just as it should at a show, the energy got better and better. And then by the time it was Static X, it was just like a bunch of explosions of energy. And they did like what Rob Zombie does, where they have people in those giant suits come out and like dance around and be weirdos. And like,
that's cool though.
I honestly found a lot of similarity between early Rob Zombie and Static X.
Well,
like in the vocals and in the guitars, and it was very like that kind of feeling. And I was like, damn, I could see like early Rob Zombie or late White Zombie touring with Static X. I'm sure they probably played some shows. It's
possible they even did, because Wisconsin Death Trip was 99 if I remember right. So like that their first album, 99, 98, somewhere in that range, maybe even 97. I could Google it, but this is more fun.
Right. I like guessing. But yeah, it has been some time, so it's just like you get that kind of capturing of an era sound, and it's like you instantly get transported back there. Just like with Dope, it was like a giant crescendo at the end of it of like Static X the entire time. And I'll say the new songs, I like the new songs.
Yeah.
I think
I do too.
I think they're fun, and I think it's a cool progression from the part 1 to the part 2.
It's always weird hearing parts of something, and granted it's been done a million different ways, like AC/DC with 2 different singers, but like it still kind of sounds the same, and everyone's like, yeah, Bon Scott's fine, whatever, sure. But then there's also blah blah blah, like that's an argument as old as time. But there's also, I can't remember the fella's name, but the new fella that for the past like 10 years, I guess, has been doing the Alice in Chains. Yeah. And like, some of the newer music is a little bit more along like the lines of probably what he'd want to write, as opposed to the heroined out like stuff of Lane Staley. But like at the same time, that's what made that great. That's what can make this great. And he's doing the homage perfectly to match the rhythm, the timing, the tone, the feel, and what made people a fan of that band in the first place. And I feel like I completely see that at where Static X is now. And there's been other examples of it as well, when someone passes and they put someone else in that spot.
I don't think he passed from heroin. I thought he overdosed.
No, not Static X. I'm saying Lane Staley.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to say Wayne Static, and you just kind of trailed off for a second.
No. They found Lane, unfortunately, like 2 weeks after he OD'd.
Wow.
And he was a smelly corpse for a while, unfortunately. And then they found him, and it was sad. But again, that was, I think that was a heroin OD.
You don't deal with death very well, do you?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
No,
but no, I'm good with it. Take me,
brother.
No, but like
Static X. Let me just finish on this point. Static X. I'd never seen them when Wayne was alive, and so I had nothing to compare it to. And I'm a relatively new list. Like I'd always listened to a couple of their songs, but after the show, it like really got me into listening to their discography and going through and finding the songs that I'm like, oh fuck, that was really good live. So it's like it's fun to see a band and get more into them. And I want to shout out my wife Anastasia for like forcing me to go to this concert. She made you go to this thing. She made me go, and I was just like, all right. And I thanked her by the end of it, and I was like, this was so much fun. Like it was a perfect night, perfect like kind of like just stress reliever from work and from like because we came back from our honeymoon and it was just like go we were working like crazy. She's like we got to get out and just do something, and I was like I know
something worth a memory, as opposed to just going to get dinner at the pub.
And then like to add to the collection that I have of music and just like kind of dig into that for a little bit and find stuff I like about it. So
that's good, man.
I really like Static X. I think they got a new fan out of that show for sure. A new like more dedicated fan, I should say. But yeah, I've been super into that. I've been listening to those dope songs too in my car, and I'm just like, God, this is so funny. I'm gonna listen to the song more and blow it up because this guy fucking hates it, and that makes me laugh. I'm gonna be like, this is the top song now. You're gonna have like millions of listens after this.
What
like,
you did?
You are just creating your own black hole.
You get royalties, I'm sure. So
yeah. For sure, he doesn't fucking care, but
you get that money.
I just think it's funny. But I was like, man, both these bands are at like over 1 million fucking monthly listeners. Like they're still blowing up. They're still doing their thing, and I'm just excited to see where they go in the future. And like who knows, maybe we'll get a new dope album soon. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of these guys, they do it just because they know that they can, like, hey, we're not going to headline. We'd love to go on tour and play some of the hits, just get paid and have a great time with some of the old friends and do the tour that makes sense for us. But some of them want to make that resurgence, and like, hey, if they could still put on a live show the way that it's supposed to be done, and you're relevant or whatever you want to call it, fucking more power to you. I don't want to stop.
Right.
I'm trying to grow.
I feel it. No, I was super happy with it. I can't wait for more shows at Steelhouse. I know like Whitechapel and Lorna Shore are coming.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies was like, you should go to that. I'm going to buy tickets.
Kubla Khan is on that one too. And that's really who I want to go see for that one.
Monkey see, monkey do.
I'm trying to go kick someone's head in.
Yeah, dude. That'd be a fun
I like all
show.
3 of them, but honestly, that'd be the one. And again, no shade, but like that would be the one where I'd be like, and I'm here for the 3 openers and I'm leaving. Like, because I mean,
I'm not really a big Lorna Shore guy.
They're great.
I mean, I get the appeal, but it's just not my flavor.
They're great. It's fucking it. As much as like, I know people are like the memes from it be like, like all the time on all the fucking songs, but like, hey, dude, what was like I Declare War back in the day, dude? Like fucking all these bands that are like fucking just gurgle ass, like heavier than heavy than heavier than heavy, just to be that in like the early mid-thousands and stuff. Like, I get it, and I think it's a great homage to like the Suicide Silence style of kind of shit that like people, it's even in metal, it's pretty in a lane, right? But there's a reason they're fucking headlining at the top of this thing and killing it. Like,
I mean, they pull numbers, people love them, and
they go viral.
There is some talent to what they're doing, and I like a little bit of that genre here and there, but it's not something I continue to go back to. It's the dope of metal genres. Sure. Yeah, well, it's for lack of better terms. It's like one of those things where I can find good things about it, but I'm not like putting my flag in that genre and being like, this is me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a defining genre for me. I just kind of enjoy picking it apart. Yeah. You know?
That's kind of a fun thing to think of. Like, if there was like, you know, let's say you're on a risk board.
Oh God, a risk board of metal genres.
Yeah, there's the hair metalers.
Where would you put your flags?
There's a bunch of hair metalers over there. Well, there's a bunch of black metal dudes in the northern region.
It's like Brutal Legend. Every metal genre.
There's thrash metalers over here. There's fucking.
That's fun.
Yeah, obviously like the death metal guys.
I would put my flag in multiple places.
No, man.
You can't just choose one. It's a risk board, friend. You have to invade other countries.
Yeah, but you start by making them assimilate to your flag.
Yeah. I don't know. Where would you put? You'd probably put your flag in either 80s hair metal, new metal, or like just straight up rock and roll.
Yeah, that's kind of
you. You're on the lighter side of metal, which is good because there's got to be a lighter and a heavier.
Like wherever you're finding your like the Road Dogg Motorhead dickheads.
Yeah. You're more of the Motorhead, like old school, like rock and roll, fucking.
Give me my bullet
with
chain.
Pinches of metal talked about, but like rarely executed in the traditional fashion.
The wave between punk and metal is like right in that area where it's just fast, it's aggressive, it's got elements of thrash. thrash.
See, even you can't go into one genre. You need to fuse them together.
Wherever you want to put because the thing is, it's not like that's on the west. Like that's I don't know. I'm at some diner in Oklahoma City. Is what I'm saying. Is that's where our team is. Like,
I would define where I put my risk flag of metal probably just by one simple phrase: metal. You know, like Deadly Sinners, 3 Inches of Blood, fucking just like Hellfire, fucking so fucking Death Clock melodic, Dragon Force, probably power metal into death metal.
So as much as you want to, you're in Germany,
but also like Lamb of God, Burn the Priest, like kind of thrashy. They'd be hanging out there
like, if they could too.
You know, yeah. So that's kind of my thing. It's like it's not really hair metal. I'm into just like the like. Like I love that shit, and I love the screaming. Like I love like August Burns Red kind of metalcore stuff too. Don't get me wrong, but like there's something about that, like that. I call it Jack Black metal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just Jack Black, Ozzy, Lemmy, kind of brutal legend metal.
But again,
like the entire brutal legend soundtrack.
The world's headquarters for that would be somewhere in Germany. Just like all like the Queensryche fans from back in the day, power metal shit.
Yeah,
like,
and yours would probably be in England.
Oh yeah, Scorpions.
Yours would probably be England because it's like that's where a lot of rock and roll and punk and like that kind of metal. Ish music comes out. You can
find me in fucking Liverpool, I guess.
Yeah, that's so funny. Oh, I love that. That's a fun concept to think about.
Like,
someone should make a risk game, make a risk edition that's just metal genres.
Yeah,
and like every single one of the pieces is like a different metal dude. You know?
We have news from the Western Thrash Front,
and like death metal is in Florida, obviously. So that would just be America.
Well, I mean, like, isn't Lorna Shore, Wage War? All those guys are Florida dudes. I'm pretty sure. I think they're the swamp area kind of shit.
Makes sense. There's it kind of transform into. I know
Wage War's from Florida.
There's a lot of deathcore out of Florida too, and like Chicago, Boston, like areas like that.
Atlanta even too. Then
kind of like that whole east side of the country is very deathcore-y.
Yeah, because again, like Boston was like the pinnacle of having like hardcore beat down two-step. Your Have Hearts, your fucking like the stuff that I really listened to a lot of when I was growing up. Even like that's why I like Kubla Khan so much. I was like, oh dude, that's just negative ass hardcore. Yeah, that's really what I enjoy at like the end of my day too. I still listen to like a lot of Guns Up,
super aggressive. Yeah,
stuff shit like that. Skate music to me.
Hell yeah, skate music for sure.
But then you have that blend because then you add the death metal shit into there, and so then you have this kind of core metal stuff that goes from like Texas to Florida and kind of up that like backwards L along that side of the country. And then
do you have any? This is such a random topic change before we kind of close this out and kind of describe the interview, but. Do you have any songs that were like made for a movie or like made for a TV show or like a fake band in a movie or a TV show and you like really enjoy that song and you wish it was kind of a real band?
There's a lot of great examples of that, and obviously on the face. I mean, like, I'm not the biggest Scott Pilgrim fan, but like that became a thing. Like
the
for
songs,
sure.
Beck wrote all of those.
Was it Scotty Doesn't Know? Wasn't that just Matt Damon?
Yeah, but I think that's an actual band. Yeah, that's an actual band. That's an actual song.
I mean, fuck yeah.
But I don't know if that was written for the movie or if it was an already pre-existing song.
What was the fucking band that Russell Brand had in that Grim with a Greek African Child? But what were they called? Like Project something or like
Infant Sorrow.
Infant Sorrow.
With Aldous Snow. Yeah,
that's not
great
that's
album.
Not what I want.
Great album.
But like,
dude.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of ones.
I think that's a great one. I specifically
Infant
think
Sorrow, I guess.
I always have this song stuck in my head, and if you've seen School of Rock, it's the intro to the movie.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. But if you run, they run for cover. Like it's so like just rock and roll, and it's got this guitar line where it's like and I love that song, and it's by a band called No Vacancy in the movie, but it's a fake band. So I think it's just some guy is credited or something like that. Like I don't think it's even a real band, but like such a good song.
What's cool is I guess to harken to something different is that like a lot of the times, video games do that a lot. Where there's like we were just doing that episode where there was all the great metal like OSTs for video games, and a lot of them like you can find it on Spotify, but they don't tour. Like that's not a band. I would love to go see like I was talking about Guilty Gear, like that dude Daisuke. I can't remember. It starts with an I. Is his last name. they don't play shows. I'm sure in like Korea, where like they're based, it's possible that they do like live orchestral scores, and like because like there was actually not that long ago there was a band that was touring just in California. Yeah, that was like most of it like a 20-piece orchestra, not the biggest thing, but they were like a private orchestra that got hired along with a bunch of like a band that were wanted to just play sonic music. That's sick. But like live with full of energy and like blazing guitar solos, and have like the game with the levels being like played at a really high level in the background while they do it. And that's like cool. So I mean like that I guess would also be something I could think would be like the closest thing where like I wish there was actually just like a band that toured to do stuff. But yeah, no, I'd love to go hear like the people that write the music for Guilty Gear go play like a fucking just set with that guy singing in the front.
That would be an interesting concept if those bands started becoming real, like all those fictional bands and movies and TV that you're like, the music's actually good and I appreciate the effort put into it. Like if those bands became real bands and started playing shows, pretty sure they could actually start garnering some huge attention.
The game though just came out last year, and again this will be in the weeds because I'm sure not a lot of people are like gamers like I am, but there's a game called Alan Wake 2. That was last year. Okay, so it like won a lot of awards for being like a super realism thing where they used a lot of like actual footage, like shot movie footage. But like in the game, just like what is real, what is not. And in that game, there's a band that the main character. I didn't play the game.
They played the Game Awards. I
like that band showed up. It was like the Pirates of the Underworld, or whatever the fuck they called themselves. They like played like.
Is that a real band, or was that a fictional band for the?
That's just for the Game Awards. But like that was the band that was like those were the composers that like wrote that. They like went out like, all right, I guess hey, they want us to do a performance. Fuck it. All right. Which one of us feels most confident on the drums doing this? All right, Tom, you're the drummer then. You're the bass player then. And they all just like wore like 80s goth metal stuff where they're all like in fingerless gloves and like eye paint, and they're all like 58-year-old dudes that like just write music for video games.
That's fucking awesome.
But like they went out there and they played a full ass song and like were singing the whole time where there's like gameplay happening, and then they had like a whole chorus line of the actual like actor that did all the acting in the game, the director of the game, the CEO of the company. They all came out and did like a dance number while they were playing. I was like, all right, that's pretty it's kind of lame, but also it's pretty cool. Like it was cheesy,
very Broadway.
It was very Broadway and very cheesy, but it's also like
you appreciate the effort.
You guys spent months learning how to do this.
I will forever have a weakness for that weird little genre of like fictional rock and metal bands.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think it's just so cool that like
even fake hip hop and that kind of shit too. There's so many movies. We're just watching like fucking what was it? I don't remember.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Fuck, there's that one. But yeah, like there's fictional
traffic.
All the stuff from 8 Mile, they're like based off of people and that kind of shit. I mean, like there's some stuff that's obviously like built just to be a one-off and one and done, but then like could be a whole act. That's how Tenacious D became a thing.
For sure.
I mean, that was a HBO show that they were like Jack Black wanted to write songs about and do a skit comedy show.
No, I think they were a band before they got the show.
I think it was like the story
they were
about
just not
them,
doing shit, and then there's a movie, and I'll never remember the fucking name of it, but someone in the movie really liked Tenacious D, so Jack Black got his first like big movie role in that movie, and then like sang at the end of the movie. High Fidelity.
That's it. Yeah, you're right.
And then after that, like the only reason Tenacious D got big is because a bunch of like comedians and celebrities like loved them, and so they would start like pitching them to people and be like, check these dudes out.
And then they got the HBO show,
and then that happened.
Death Clock style, like, note for note.
Then they had some like drama with HBO that went down, so it like wasn't a finished series, and then there's a whole thing,
albums and movies,
right?
But
their whole story is crazy.
They still tour,
and like the fact that Pick of Destiny was like criminally like discarded by the public when it first came out, and like no one liked it, and then now it's got this crazy cult following. Like it just shows that like sometimes you'll make something and like you'll never know, maybe 10 years later it becomes like well known and someone's like, check this shit out, and then all of a sudden you're getting phone calls and people are like, what have you been doing since then? You're like, I don't know, man. I sell insurance now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like I'll get back in the studio if you want me to.
And that's the beautiful thing about putting out music and putting out content and fucking metal in general is like, you never know who's listening and who's gonna like it and what's gonna happen. So it might come back around. So, but we also do have. Obviously, you can tell this is a very long episode. It's a mega fucking episode. So thank you for tuning in. But we do have an interview with Gorgatron with Karl and Cameron, and just to preface this one, it's very funny. So they had been driving for like 8 to 10 hours, and then they went and set up an entire wrestling arena in a hockey arena
in Minnesota. I think they were in Minnesota, but like, because we'd have to listen back.
I think it was South Dakota.
Well, they're from North Dakota. They went to like a couple hours over.
Yeah. So they were setting this up. They actually answered on their phone and like showed me the ring. It was pretty cool. And then they were walking around trying to find somewhere to have a quiet area to talk. So they're like, hey, let's try the elevator. And like we didn't get footage of this, but like because I hadn't hit record yet, they put the phone on the elevator, and this guy just comes up. He's like, "Are you streaming?" And just starts like looking in the camera, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, we can't be doing this.
Like, okay, we can't. The elevator was a funny idea. It just didn't work out. They ended up finding like an abandoned like janitor's closet with like tools everywhere. And it was perfect. It was just kind of a funny area to talk. But these guys were so cool, man. We had so much fun with them, joking around. I think they were in one of those rooms where the lights kept turning off every 25 minutes.
Lights. So there's a couple screams in here.
There's a couple screams where the lights went out. We don't know what happened. So if you hear that, that's what it is. We'll probably try to get some video clips out of it on our Instagram, Metal Massacre Podcast. Go follow us there. We put concert footage there, behind the scenes stuff we do, promotional stuff. But yeah, super fun interview. We want to thank the guys for Gorgatron. After a long, brutal day filled with Red Bull, driving, and setting up a wrestling ring,
that you took the time.
These dudes like took the time to talk to us and talk about what they do and talk about their upcoming music. So thanks again, Karl and Cameron. Thanks to all the guys from Gorgatron for being so cool. We can't wait to like hang out with you, party with you. And we're going to definitely try and get out to some more Gorgatron shows.
Yeah, they're coming to, Nebraska locally. They're going to play 1867, but they are going everywhere across the country. Yeah. They've already been in Europe.
Starting
I think they have plans to go back for their new album called Sentience Revoked. And again, just big shout out to these guys for taking the time. Let's just get into it, man. What is going on, everybody listening to Metal Massacre? Again, appreciate you sticking around for the portion of the episode we're getting into, which is the most important. We have two of the dudes from Gorgatron in here with us today. We have Cameron and Karl. What's going on, bros?
Really good to have you. Really fun situation we kind of find ourselves in right now. You guys were setting up a wrestling event, correct?
Yeah, we're running camera and audio in the wonderful metropolis of Thief River Falls, Minnesota. Kurt Angle flew in today.
Oh my God.
We're at a giant hockey arena and just got done setting up, and then we've been trying to find a place to do this interview, and now we're in the janitor closet. So
these guys were walking around. They showed me the ring before we were recording, and I was like, oh, that's fucking sick. They're in the press box. We thought an elevator would be pretty fun, but then like you were saying, it did kind of devolve into an episode of Seinfeld. People were coming in, and I was almost like, I kind of wish we stayed there because it'd be so funny to keep hearing that ding.
People coming in. No, we're like, we get into the elevator and like, oh, this is pretty quiet. Yeah, let's do it from here, and then ding. And then like a dude with like chairs and ladders.
He's like, are you guys streaming? I'm like,
if you were recording that, you should definitely.
I should have been, honestly.
Okay.
It would have been great. I was just recording when we sat down now, all of us, but that would have been
what's going to happen is like the
janitor,
500-year-old janitor is going to come in here and be like,
what are you doing? Kick you out. We can only hope. It's just going to get juicier and juicier as we go. But I didn't know this until a week or two ago, but you guys actually have a podcast.
We do.
Yeah.
And it's entertaining as hell. I was just telling you before we started, I listened to the April recap episode, the tour recap.
Oh, what's your
and I want you guys to know I used the shit my pants thing on my wife. And she was so confused. She didn't know what to do. I think it was like a Ricky Bobby, where do I put my hands kind of situation. Right. Like it was perfect. I was just like, I'm gonna steal this. She'll never see it coming.
It was a great move. Target bit. I just shit my pants.
No, you took my pants off while I was sleeping and shit them and put them back on my body. Yeah, I know what you've been doing while I'm sleeping. And she's like, what? Are you really shitting your pants? I'm like, no.
Coop is like really good at fucking with people.
It's great.
It seems.
Yeah, he should, honestly, he should just be followed around sometimes with a camera. Because I do this, like we all do the same thing. Like we fuck with people just, because it's fun.
Yeah,
but
it's fun.
He's on a whole, like, he works at a music store, and people will come in and be like, oh, it's weird. It's a music store. You're not playing any music. And so what he'll do is through the PA, he'll put on like 6 different tabs of YouTube music
all
and
at
play
once.
it all at the same time, and then just casually go about his day like nothing's wrong.
So you wanted to look at a bass, right? And the guy's like, ah!
Oh, dude, not because he's not here, but like another bit he does at the music store is that when someone's like, yeah, I'm really liking, this Taylor acoustic guitar, he'll reach and grab it by the strings and then hand it off to him.
Oh.
And then just stand there straight faced and not say anything.
There you go.
Well, it just gives people anxiety.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I did hear he did get reprimanded for that one though.
Oh, really?
His boss was like, "You gotta stop doing that, man."
Like, you can't be ripping the fucking action off this guitar, please. And honestly, that's pretty funny. I just wanted to come and hang out with you guys. And that was honestly like really the only question I had planned. It's like, give me some Coop bullshit because I've known him for a while.
Oh yeah, I suppose you guys are all in the same neck of the woods.
All Omaha dorks. So we're so I've played, with his older bands and stuff like that. I've peripheral friendship with Coop for a while, and that's honestly when we got through the whole thing. I was gonna be like, all right, what's it like dealing with him? Like, like
does he fuck with you guys too, or is it just other people?
What's that?
Does he fuck with you guys too? Like, is it heavy on you guys?
We all fuck with each other. There was a point during our European tour last summer, like, because we did like 105 shows, 18 countries, give or take.
That's awesome.
But like, towards the end, like, you can only smell your friend's feet for so long before you're annoyed that they chew loud. And there was a point where Coop,
that's you, Karl,
was like, because we also fuck with him, but then he's like, dude, I don't know why everybody's always fucking with me. And Karl's always just like, you don't know why.
Really? No reason.
You sure about that?
No. Yeah.
That's great. So you guys are like, what, pranking each other all the time or something?
Just fucking with each other, minor pranks. When Coop first joined, I did kind of do some practical jokes on him. One time, his first tour with us, his voice went out. Like the whole tour for like 3 weeks. He had like he was doing that. So like at one point I'm like, dude, just use some throat coat. It's tea. He's like, oh yeah, let's. So we bought throat coat, and then I also bought a thing of smooth move tea, which is like X-Lax.
Oh no!
I know that.
And like second day we were at our buddy Ben's in Kansas City, and I'm like, hey Coop, dude, you want me to make some of that tea for you? He's like, yeah, that'd be great. And so I did one throat coat where that tab was, sticking out of the cup, and then I put 2 of the laxative ones in there. And
how long was he shitting himself?
We ate barbecue, and then we had to drive to Minneapolis, and about halfway through the drive, he goes, oh. We weren't talking. We were listening to like all the Megadeth catalog, and he just goes, and I'm like, what's up, dude? He's like, dude. And as soon as we got to our buddies in Minneapolis, he ran to the bathroom and shit his life up. So.
Oh my god!
Full Dumb and Dumber style, brother.
Yeah, we do pranks, but it's more so just fucking with each other.
That's fun.
Yeah,
we kind of fuck with each other a little bit, like in our band, but it's never that intense yet. I'm sure one day someone will step it up, and it will be a little more hardcore than what I'm used to. But it's mostly just kicking each other in the ass while we're playing and just stupid shit like that.
We kind of fuck with each other on stage. I come from the age like my high school, middle school friends and we always did something called prank wars. And like I used to make like a batch of cookies, like M&M cookies, and then X-Lax used to come in like a little hard candy shell, like circular.
God, look out for Cameron and the X-Lax. What the fuck, bro? That's like your trademark move.
Because most people are like, oh yeah, cookie, and then they, you can't just eat a cookie.
Yeah.
And then like 3 hours later, it's
the trademark. Yeah.
So it had been a good 10 years since I did one. I'm like, well, what better time than to do it to Cooper?
Yeah,
set him up for a bit.
I'm sure he's deserved a couple of them coming his way, but
oh yeah.
So you guys are, I mean, obviously, so you just said you're setting up for a wrestling thing. Is this something you kind of grabbed from just doing, audio and production and being around lights and music all the time, or?
Pretty much. Yeah, for the most.
Simple question, but
like, yeah, we're this band, like we're all huge wrestling marks. I mean, we've done music videos with wrestling shit. We put Karl through a table. Karl got put through a table by Jay Schlack when they did a show with Eat the Turnbuckle. In like 2012 or some shit.
Oh yeah.
How was that?
Still on.
Did you relax the body?
So what?
Did you relax the body? Were you good?
Yeah, except I still injured myself.
If you type in Gorgatron, Eat the Turnbuckle, or Karl goes through a door, I think
that's what it's called. Yeah.
You can tell this is before Jay was like wrestling every day. He goes off the ladder and throws a hard elbow, and it was a rough landing.
Damn, that's crazy, dude.
But yeah, no, it's just like from that, and then obviously we all do like production and stuff. So it's just we have so many friends that are into so much shit. They're like, hey, dude, you want to come do some camera and audio and shit?
Hell yeah.
And now we're in a hockey arena with Kurt Angle.
That's awesome. I used to stagehand myself, so I'd find myself in like weird things like that, like setting up for art museum exhibits and like just random concerts and stuff that would be really fun. So like I get that, and like doing those kind of jobs are cool because you do clearly get to see behind the veil. And like especially in wrestling, that's so rare. I grew up watching WWF with my older brother and getting choke slammed into a couch when I was like 6 years old. So like I get it, man. Like,
what was your finishing move? You know you had one.
Oh, dude, I was a swanton bomb.
Oh no!
One time I climbed a ladder in our basement, and my brother's friend kicked the ladder, and I fell flat onto the concrete basement floor, and I just went for like 5 minutes, and they were like, "Don't tell mom,
my lungs collapsing." Okay,
God. Go in the corner.
And then they're like, "Don't tell mom. We'll give you the title belt. Like you won it if you don't." And I'm like, "Okay."
Oh my God.
Yeah. Nowadays, if I turn too fast to the left, like I can't move for an hour. It's weird.
My move as a kid was Goldberg's spear.
There you go.
Fucking straight into it, tackle him. My brother's was the choke slam, obviously, and he was always bigger than me, so I'd try to spear, and he'd see it coming, and he'd just. It was horrible. It was Undertaker move, and I hated it. But I'd say Undertaker's probably my favorite. Who are your guys' favorite wrestlers?
I mean, I'm a Hardy Boys dude.
Ooh,
yeah,
for like WWF. And obviously the greats like The Rock, Stone Cold. Much only Randy Savage and Leaping Lanny Poffo.
Oh yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
I'm just a fan of it all. I mean, for the underground shit, motherfucking he just passed away, and I can't think of his name because he's dead.
Oh wow.
It's not.
It came out to Natural Born Killers.
I'm not the biggest wrestling head. I wouldn't be able to help you. I apologize.
The nigga just died, nigga.
He was in Natural Born Killers?
No, he used to come out to that theme song.
Oh.
He used to do more underground?
He cracked his skull at ECW match, and like brain fluid was coming out of his nose.
Oh my God. That's so brutal.
That would be great.
No, he's basically like I'm a mark for forgetting his name right now, but whatever. The point being, like all the ECW guys, like Sabu, like just anything that was cool and crazy. And the stuff nowadays there's not really any notable wrestlers that are like the mainstream that I can
think of. Well, and things are a lot more tame now than how they used to be.
Right.
Like back then you had like extreme wrestling, like Mick Foley shit. Like Mick Foley's one of my tops just because of all the shit that guy's gone through.
Like,
and he's still here.
He didn't have to do so much of that, but it's because of some of those bumps he would take, like his tooth going through his lip because he got thrown off the top of a fucking 20-foot cage. Like, you didn't have to do that.
The Hell in the Cell Undertaker.
That just pushed the bar.
Yeah. I see your other guitarist, Paul, always posting wrestling shit, wearing his Pit Vipers or something.
Oh, yeah. He used to do backyard wrestling back, before the internet.
Karl, who are your wrestling idols?
And that's a tough one. I always liked the vibe of Stone Cold. As a kid. As an adult, I don't know if he was as good at working as I remember, if that makes sense.
No, I get what you're saying.
I really like Stone Cold. I guess growing up, I liked all the WCW versus WWF kind of deals, all the facts.
Before Kane took off the
Booker T, dude.
What was that, Dusty?
Oh, sorry, I'm doing a step when I was like, oh yeah, fuck. Before Kane took off the mask, like when
Dude
when was masked, that was a time.
That was a big deal, man. I remember when like they finally revealed his face and he had like that. They just put like makeup on his face, like, oh my god, he's a mutant,
so
he's a freak. And it was just a guy with like some fucking mascara.
Yeah.
Now that guy's a fucking like governor or something.
Yeah,
or a mayor.
he's like an ultra right wing governor, and I'm like, wow, didn't see that coming. Like,
yeah, I guess, the big red wave wasn't just a clever name. Huh?
Right.
That's fucking true, man.
So,
go ahead.
Down to brass tacks, gentlemen. I love your fucking music. Let me just start off by saying that. Like, you guys have captured this. It's like a time capsule for me for a time in death metal and thrash history that I don't really feel like people are continuing. It's just kind of where it was in like that early to mid aughts kind of death metal. Like, I'm going to throw out like Despised Icon and Whitechapel and kind of deathcore, I guess, more. And I feel like you guys have really like honed in on that sound. And I've been listening to the new stuff, the new singles that have come out. And I think what you're doing now is like it's this natural next progression of who you were before. But I love that you're sticking to your roots while you're doing it.
Yeah,
like, I just got to say hats off right away.
I'd say that Tron's a solid, like, mid school, if that makes sense. Like there's this, the new school of death metal is trying to be old school death metal, but with hardcore vibes, which is cool. But like, we're just going to stick to writing cool songs and doing that mid-school thing where we have influences from new bands, old bands that aren't fucking metal. And it's all about writing a good riff and a song. That's all we really care about.
And I think,
you're doing the right stuff there. I mean, like, you guys are playing hundreds of shows. You're getting out. You're not, obviously, you're way past just playing like the same local market where a lot of people get stuck. But beyond that, I do think it shows that from like, obviously, I'd imagine from going through Europe, you're getting all sorts of influences because metal is ginormous there, arguably more than it is here. So
yeah, after doing like some of all of it together, the Europe tour, the stint we did in Mexico, and then all the US stuff the last few years, things like taken away from like the European crowd is like, playing the music to the best of your ability. That's the cool thing about death metals. You're not going to play a song 100% every night. And that's kind of the test. Mm-hmm. But after playing over there, it's like they had us on like some pretty big stages. It's kind of a first time thing for us. So then you started thinking about like moving around and kind of putting on a stage performance physically rather than just being in a club in the corner.
Yeah, right. 50 feet on your wireless now. What do you do with it?
Right.
That was a takeaway for sure, at least for me. But yeah, there's, like I said, there's just influence from everything from, hey man, maybe we don't need to do this. Remember that one night that band fucking came out, it was all black and the whites came on. Maybe we should just stand on stage and tune until we play.
Karl, I've been dying to know who are like your vocal inspirations, because you have a very unique vocal style. It's kind of something I can't really describe. Like, to be honest, I love it, and I just want to know like who was your inspiration learning to do what you do?
Well, obviously, Corpse Grinder was a big influence,
nice,
vibe-wise. I mean, and enunciation-wise.
Oh, yeah.
The dude who kind of actually got me to start trying to do vocals was actually Johnny Davey from Job for a Cowboy.
Oh wow!
Which say what you want about that band, but they kind of started with the deathcore thing and then moved to death metal, and that's when I kind of started wanting to try doing vocals because I'm like, I think I could probably try doing that. So I tried in the car one day and determined that I was good enough to try out for Gorgatron, and here we are.
It's always the car or the shower. I've noticed that. Oh, yeah. Those are the two places for me. Like, if I do it anywhere else but stage, it's just those. I can't like sit in a room and do it in front of people. It's just not the same.
Otherwise, it's fucking terrifying.
even when we have like practices and like there's times where like one of us can't make it, it's like if the drummer's not there or like it's just a guitarist and a bassist playing, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable screaming without drums, man. It's just weird. Like,
there's a time and place for sure.
Hell yeah. Well, I love that. Corpse Grinder is honestly one of my inspirations as well. Have you been into his solo stuff?
Dude, with John,
I have, yeah.
solo record that Josta put out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dude, Into the Acid Vat, I was just blown away by that shit. Like, honestly, I was kind of even anticipating that album, and I always get nervous when people do solo stuff because sometimes you're like, oh my God, this is not what I expected. But that was like,
they
good record.
They definitely pulled from all of his influences. Like hearing Corpse Grinder on like a hardcore track is.
Yeah.
Dude, have you heard that song he did with Terror called Can't Help But Hate?
No. When did that come out?
Dude.
Yeah, check that out.
I think it came out last summer on a quick EP. Everyone should just pause this or take out their other phone and type in Can't Help But Hate, Terror.
It's off of Pain and the Power. I think that was the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right now. That's sick ass album art. Really cool.
Yeah, dude.
Minute and a half long, right in the vein where it should be.
Yeah, dude.
Also, a minute and a half long song with Corpse Grinder is a very interesting concept for me.
Quit it.
That's awesome.
Also, if you're looking for more Corpse Grinder, he also did a project with Adam from Killswitch called Serpentine.
Yeah.
Really solid stuff.
Hell yeah. I'm adding all this to my playlist. Also, while we're on the subject of the new music you guys are on as well, Sentience Revoked is coming out pretty soon.
Sentience Revoked.
I'm sorry. Sentience. I missed the I.
Your sentence is revoked.
I've revoked my sentence. God damn it. No, first thing I noticed was your album artwork is fucking insane. Like, who did this?
That was all Karl's brainchild.
So, actually that's funny because there's this artist, his name is Santiago, and he's out of Chile. And he did stuff for Unmerciful. I believe he did stuff for Origin. So I contacted him, and I gave him a rough idea. And the album art that he sent us was pretty much not at all what I told him what I wanted. However, it's awesome, so we went with it.
What did you like specifically ask for?
Well, so Sentience Revoked, I kind of was just like, I want a record where someone's getting their brain ripped out, like from the top.
Oh, cool.
And that's kind of the rough thing I sent him, and then obviously sent something that was kind of similar, but then the artwork that we have for that record is not at all what I was thinking, but it's awesome.
It works.
Fucks
the cool thing, like for me, like with album covers, man, if you can look at it while listening to the album front to back, and it creates like that world or what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Where you can look at the artwork and the music represents it, and I think we're on track with that one.
Well, and stop me if I'm wrong, but what it sounds like to me is you're not trying to just play concerts or play music. You're trying to put on a show, and you're trying to cultivate an experience through your work.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that is something that reaches such a higher level internally with me, at least. Like, I can really appreciate when an artist will put that much care and dedication into it. Like, I was editing our lyrical music video for a single that's dropping soon, and I'm like nerding out about it and texting all the other guys like, do you know the symbolism behind this that's in the video and that? And they're like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, just trust me.
I'm just like that, my friend.
I love it.
Because that's just like when I was a kid, man. I used to sit. I mean, I did midnight record releases at like fucking the Music Play and Best Buy and shit, and I would sit with the fucking album and read the liner notes. So like something I always put since I've joined the band, I'm kind of adamant about having it in our like insert is a blank line that says this line is for you to write your name or for anyone that we forgot. Because when I was a kid, there was a band that did that, and I got to write my name in like the thanks, and I was like,
"That's awesome."
A really cool idea.
So it's like,
thanks.
I don't know, it's all about the album experience for me, at least, and having good artwork is a big part of that.
Yeah,
100%.
So, what's the experience you're trying to portray with this new album? What do you want someone to feel or think or kind of pontificate on, I guess, while they're listening?
So I'll take this one because I feel strong about this. So Sentience Revoked is pretty much, and gentlemen, I don't mean to insult either of you guys with this next statement, but
you're cool.
It's pretty much the concept that I'm a bartender, so I see the worst of the worst. I basically wrote that record for people who use their PTO to watch the NFL draft. People like that.
Okay.
Like you're given one brain and one life, and This is what you're spending your time on. I don't know, you know.
Okay.
So part of me wanted like a darker kind of condescending kind of feel, if that makes sense, but also introspective as well. So along the lines of what we were just talking about, of like painting a picture or like an entire experience. So what we're currently working on is we have like in between song tracks, if that makes sense, like noise tracks that are kind of thematic.
Yeah.
For the live show.
For the live show for the record. So what I mean by that is, so we're going to play a bunch of new songs, but in between there's going to be noise tracks that are actually going along with what we're doing on the record. So like if people see us live, if they really are paying attention, they'll be like, oh, this is actually like a whole new experience to like the album, because none of this is on the actual album. It's just
that's
live,
cool.
You know.
Whoa.
Someone turned the lights off. Speaking of experiences, jeez.
We're literally in the supply room.
Oh yeah, you're like a wood shop class.
If I'm gonna piggyback off what Karl was saying real quick. I'm gonna pick up what he's laying down. Like as far as the live show, like that's kind of what I was talking about a little bit ago, like things we took away from the Europe tour, or at least, collectively we're like trying to make more of a stage show, not like a Guar or like a fucking Alice Cooper stage show, but like, let's get away from like a bunch of flashing. I don't want to look like a bar band.
Yeah. Well, it's not theatrics, so to speak. It's in my mind, you're talking about just more presence.
Yeah,
having more of that presence.
When you go and see, say, Cannibal Corpse, their stage show is each motherfucker's pretty much planted in their spot, red overhead light, and there's a fixated figure such as Corpse Grinder, headbang, but they're all kind of doing their own thing, but it's a menacing, it's fucking Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
And that they're not even doing a bunch of crazy shit. There's one singular color like the whole show.
Yeah. I think it is
actually,
but they have presence.
Well, yeah, and actually the lights shutting off here, that was actually timed. We planned that
our lighting guy
to represent.
Hey George, good job.
To represent that, the dark kind of theme that we're going for. So you guys didn't even see that one coming.
Yeah.
Just blowing our minds in all ways.
There's like little things like we don't do scrims, like pipe and drape scrims or anything, but working on maybe doing some like flag things on the front of the cabs. Obviously we have a backdrop that's just our logo, but I've been kind of like, man, should we do like an alteration of the artwork so that we can all kind of make it meld together along with the interludes in between songs.
Yeah, tie all those themes in, and just like visually with your presence and with the music. That
exactly.
I think that's
creating
perfect.
An experience. So like even if you see us in a club that fits fucking 120 people, you're getting the same fucking energy and stage show as like a bigger venue or a bigger festival stage.
I think that's really smart of you guys, especially because let's be honest with where you've toured the world, but being that death metal, it is a bit niche. And so sometimes again, like the best shows are the ones that have like 100 people in a club that's packed full of people that not only want to be there, but paying premium dollar. And you can get that in. And it's a really smart of you guys because it looks, again, it's just kind of even just looking through pictures, but also seeing you guys before. It's death metal. It's going to be high energy, but you guys specifically take the time to put on a very high energy show. Lots of but with the movements in between. I don't really have a question. I was just thinking no, that seems very smart in your guys' instance to be able to cater to the exact. I think a lot of comedians run into that too, where they're like, I love being this close to and talking shit. And then I know I get big and I'm playing a 7,000 seat, whatever Ford arena. And it's like, I'm yelling 30 feet to talk shit to that guy. And it's not the fucking same.
Yeah. It's the natural kind of next step. Like for instance, like here's a kind of cool backstory that's kind of in the same realm. So you guys know like Bootsy Collins, bass player. Oh, so he and his bandmates were just a small little fucking jazz club band in like Cleveland or some shit, somewhere in Ohio, right? Well, James Brown decided one night to fire his band, or during the day or something. He like fired his band. And he's like, I need a band. So his manager calls up Bootsy. Somehow he gets a hold of Bootsy. They hop on a plane and like fly to fucking Florida. And keep in mind, Bootsy and his whole band have spent their whole career playing in the corner wedge stage of a small little speakeasy. And now they're playing like a Coliseum arena type gig with James Brown, right? Except they're standing on stage. James Brown's out there doing his fucking moves all over the stage. And Bootsy and the whole band have fucking 5-foot cables in little 212s. And they're all scrunched up on this mega stage as if they're still playing in the corner. And then right there, Bootsy's like, baby, that's when I knew it was time to go big, baby. And that's when it started. And I'm not saying we're going to be walking around with the giant star glasses and shit, but you get on a big stage and you kind of look around and you go, wait, a wireless unit?
Yeah.
Why don't I have a wireless? Why don't I? Yeah. Hey, dude, let's do some back-to-back fucking shit, dude. It looks cool.
Right. I think again, like that's one of the biggest compliments that I can give any band whenever I'm seeing them, because everybody's all good set, bro. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get that from fucking. Yeah. But like when I really mean it, it's usually when I'm like, hey, you guys, anybody can throw some music on in the car that's perfectly mixed, perfectly mastered, headbang and do your thing. It's different than when I go see, especially like more aggressive acts, whether it's hip hop or heavy metal. And they're just playing it, you know, just standing there making sure they're going fucking note for note. It's not that I don't care if you like shoegaze stuff. It's just more if you're more worried about just doing your frets, like, okay, cool. I could have just, why don't you just put the fucking CD on and let it blast to the PA? Because what's the point of me putting you for?
Why don't we put this show that's in a club at a theater and I can sit down and
right?
Like, yeah. If I'm trying to do a clinic, I'll go to a clinic, but I'm trying to see a show, man.
You know, one of my things is like it weirds me out when people have to look at their guitars to play. It's like, look up. Like, I know, or I get it when it's like super technical. You're doing like some dueling death clock shit like that. I get, but you're just doing like fucking Pantera, and you got to be like.
But brother, at the same time, you've seen ripper guitar players that they don't look at the fretboard once, and they're just fucking ripping and doing like a different vocal melody, and you're like, whoa,
yeah, for sure.
What the fuck is this guy, man?
I don't think we're the same.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. That's the other thing. Like we're all conscious of when we talk about in the van after a gig for years is like we do shit for the fretboard watchers out there because we're all fretboard watchers.
Yes.
Yeah.
When we go to shows, you know, you can be sitting in front of your idol, and I'm not trying to like. You see me? I'm fucking watching your fretboard, dude. I saw you miss that.
Yeah. Well, then I'm looking, you know, you're looking for tips, you're looking for tricks, you're trying to see if like, especially, I mean, fuck Van Halen back in the day, Eddie would like turn around. He'd turn around and like, you don't get to watch my fingers because
it'll get lifted.
Yeah. You don't get to know the secrets, but
and that's like right now, it's kind of a big thing in like just the music world in general, but like it's kind of seeping into the metal world there's a lot of ripping off going on, but it's kind of like a shameless, like, yeah, we totally ripped you off. That's cool. Yeah. You can rip off a gimmick that a band does. You can rip off a look. But how about you try ripping off some of those fucking sick riffs?
Right.
Turns out most people that are ripping stuff off can't fucking play. So good luck.
I knew that's where you're going
with people that cheat in video games, man.
This, dude.
Yeah, no, that's super true. Again, yeah, like usually, I mean, dude, half the time I have a pedal board. It's out there. I'm really just running my tuner. But then that way I'd be like, yeah, dude, look at these. Look at these.
Dude, that was the thing for a while where like people would hide their pedal board.
Yeah. And one know if you're like what delay, what analog, like if you're doing things differently than they are. And half the time, like I mean, there are plenty of songs where I try and use them in between like one of the other bands. But I mean, we're all guilty of sin. It's the same idea. You're always interested just to gain inspiration. But then, you know, a lot of the times, like you're saying, you're gonna see, you know, all right, yep, you're running the line 6 head rush and you're not going to let me see what specific things you toned and it's in the back. And then you have your scrims up. Okay, I get it. Like, and hey, it's totally fine. But like I said, yeah, you're watching their fretboard, you're watching their fingers. But again, you guys, if there's another compliment I can give you is you run your social media really well.
Like, we try.
Like the latest thing where you announced your tour and there's a van flying off a cliff and it's a bunch of bullshit. Like that's, I mean, you guys are you're nailing it on the head. Like,
yeah, you're having fun with
for
it.
Attention, but also put a valiant message
well,
behind
like,
it.
the kind of what I was just saying, like that's it's kind of a thing right now in the music world, but in the metal world is like the non sequitur humor. If that makes sense, where it's like, this has nothing to do with anything, but we'll just slap our fucking logo on it. Yeah. And now it's funny, and it's quick meta humor. Because, like, dude, for years we used to film skits. I mean, you can type in GTV, like, there's one of my favorites is one Karl did, slam poetry, and it's him just playing slam riffs going at like a poetry place. Yeah. It's like a 2-minute video, and I'm gonna re-edit it to like 15 seconds, and people will probably be like, "Holy shit, this is."
That's awesome.
But at least like we're filming our own stuff. But I don't know. It's just it's been a weird test and transition to just kind of tap into, you know, not trying to be a purist of humor and be like, you know, maybe this guy blowing up a refrigerator and then putting our tour dates will work. And sure enough, that's sitting at like 40,000 views right now.
Well, it's cool because when you do stuff like that with social media, like when you attach your name and your brand, I guess, to something else, it creates this bridge in people's brains where they're automatically going to start associating you with these things. So like looking at your Instagram with the Arnold Schwarzenegger picture, things like that, like, and the Hulk Hogan and Elvis and all that, like, I think that's so smart because it allows people to see kind of parts of who you guys are.
Well, yeah, dude, go on. Sorry.
I was just saying, and it kind of like subconsciously ties those things in together. Like, I love it. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, even before, because I joined, I mean, fall, I started practicing of 2014, and then officially March of 2015 it was announced. But nonetheless, since I joined, and even before that, like, Gorgatron's never been a like serious metal. Yeah, you're never gonna get a Glenn Benton statement out of us unless we're sipping a beer and making a joke.
Right.
And so like, well, there's always been humor. I mean, even like we just put out Blatant De-Evolution, the music video. It's a mini horror movie. Mm-hmm. It's super fucking brutal and gory and fucked up, but you can watch it with the music on or on mute, and you're still gonna go, you know. It's funny. It's campy.
Yeah. Again, I think that lends to the whole experience. Like you guys are putting something out that is truly you, and people can see that. And the more you kind of put yourself into your own art, I feel like the better it is. And you guys have definitely put so much of yourself in. I feel like every little part of what Gorgatron is. And I'm honestly just excited to see what you guys do next. I'm excited for this album because these first 2 tracks.
Heroin, and we're going to write an unplugged album.
All right, Dr. Roxo.
It's going to be funny. That's the reason we're doing it.
It's just banging them. Sheesh.
You're going to do it live on YouTube.
What would heroin death metal sound like, though, really? Would it be like
grungy?
Would it be like Gorguts, but like, not saying they do heroin, but I think it. Dude, let's do heroin.
What was the fucking Acacia Strain song that just got slower and slower?
Yeah, that's what it would be.
It's just that. That's the
album. Let me call management and have them send a few records over for us to review.
Please get them on.
I was just thinking of, you just brought up the Arnold and the Elvis picture. I did that when we did that last run we did, the Elvis one specifically, because I'm like a punk and a hardcore kid, right? So I have this overwhelming punk rock guilt of like, oh man, we're getting paid for this gig, fucking sell out, you know. But it's funny because like, so I linked up with Enki at NAMM earlier this year, working on some stuff with them, and then like a wireless company called X5. And awesome. So like I'm walking around that show that we played with, or you guys, the Heartland Havoc.
Yeah.
I have the Elvis Presley glasses on. I have an Enki shirt, and I'm walking around with my X5 thing, like plugging it, doing commercials with people as a joke. And then I just like spent a bunch of time in the bus. I'm like, dude, I'm killing every ounce of punk rock guilt I have, and just full-blown rock star for the bit.
That's awesome.
Hey, you know, put it to bed. You guys are doing good things. You just gotta. Right. Sometimes, you know, it's like dress for the job you want. Fuck it.
As we kind of get to the tail end of this, I had a couple key questions, and I just want to know this because I kind of starting to geek out on what you guys do. Sure. Would you ever do a cover song? And if so, what would you think you would do?
Totally.
We would. We have, and we actually have one in the works.
Ooh.
You'll just have to see that live.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it something crazy that I'm like, oh my God, they Gorgatronized it? Or is it something I can see coming, you think?
I think a little column A, a little column B.
Because, if you listen to, there's a few, so we released one cover, right? Dead Embryonic Cells. Mm-hmm. And then we've done we did a Goat Horror one years ago.
We've done a couple, actually.
And there's some random videos out there. Like, we did a Crowbar song years ago.
Yeah, we did
To Build a Mountain, dude.
That's cool.
If I was to be able to pick a song that this band could do, but I don't know if we will. There's a sick ass band called. Are you ready for this? Solstice, and they have an album called Pray, and there's a song called.
That would be sick.
There's a song called Closed-Minded Failure. It's Rob Barrett and Alex Marquez who did the Retribution album from Malevolent Creation, and then Rob Barrett went on to Cannibal and all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Highly suggest everyone go listen to Closed-Minded Failure. I would love to cover that song. If not that, Coronation of Our Domain by Malevolent Creation.
Dude.
That's awesome. See, and I think you guys, again, and it's just, just speaking from whatever I know, we with every band that I've ever been in has 2 rules for covers if you're going to do them. Either one, you do something that oh fuck, it's just it's like how Motorhead redid 90 rock songs, but just revised them, where it's you should just do what you do, but it's gonna be oh fuck, this is actually a really good homage of what this already was. Or you do Celine Dion and then you fuck it up, you know what I mean?
It's funny to do, and that's if I'd be down to do I love I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. It'd be cool to Gorgatronize a MJ song or something.
That would be cool.
Just pop up, stop till you can get enough.
Awesome. That being said, you kind of said that thing about make it your own cover or play it note for note. One of my favorite musicians and groups to do that, Pete Steele, Carnivore Typo Negative. So if you go, one of my favorite albums of all time is Retaliation by Carnivore. He did a cover of Jimi Hendrix' Manic Depression and made it Carnivore as fuck while kind of sticking to what it is. However, if you go and listen to Typo's covers of, say, Paranoid by Black Sabbath, most of the song is doing the Iron Man riff, and then the other part of the song it has nothing to do, only thing is the vocal melody is the same. And then also their cover of Black Sabbath's Black Sabbath is their own fucking thing. So it's that's always cool if you take a song and just it sounds nothing like the original.
Yeah, put it through your own process and make it your band's version of it. I love that so much. Especially what is it? Children of Bodom did a Britney Spears song.
Yeah.
I was just dude, it rips. I shouldn't love this, but I do. So anybody that does that, I'm just fuck, dude.
Guar did Schools Out, Alice Cooper.
That's right.
And it's honestly, it's the most Guar song ever.
Oh yeah.
We could even smoke in the parking lot.
I mean, yeah, that's fucking spot on. That's true. Yeah, no. Did you have another question, Lucian?
I would love to go to a Guar show. I'm just gonna say that real quick.
Have you ever seen Guar?
No, they've come through Nebraska 4 times in the last 10 years, maybe. Yeah. And I've just it's never lined up.
You should go.
I need to.
I'm a huge Guar dude. I've been to 33 shows. I went all the way to Richmond for Brocky's memorial when he passed away. Dude, sadly, obviously the guy's dead, but they still put on a show you'll never forget. Make your own white Guar shirt or suit.
Yeah.
Get sprayed by some guts and hear the cool fucking songs, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I need to get to one. You just made me think of that. I was like, oh my God, Guar is just one of those bucket list bands that if you're a metalhead, you should at least go to one.
Oh yeah. It's a fucking you kind of have preconceived things, and then you're in the midst of it. I haven't been to one in a while, but they used to do this thing. They have the spew cannons, Or like when they cut someone's titty meat off or an arm. Like there's a guy in a suit that's like watching you and his arm's going like this. And if he finds like the one person in the front row that's kind of going like, oh, I got something in my eye, they'll just sit and spray directly at you until you're just like,
I love that. That's so brutal.
Yeah, no, those guys rule, man. They're all good. They're all good dudes and amazing artists. Like that's the cool thing about Guars. Everyone's like, these satanic metal. No, they're just a bunch of art nerds from like, a poor school in Richmond.
That's so fucking awesome.
Did you have one more, Lucian?
I don't even remember. I'm so lost right now, but I appreciate this. You guys are so fucking cool. Thank you for like just finding a closet to hang out with us in. like seriously, this has been a lot of fun. And honestly, I'd love to have you guys on maybe the next season of the podcast. We could do like an update about the album or talk about that. That'd be cool.
Tell you what, being that we built a tour bus kind of deal, like it's a lounge hangout thing. It'd be cool to. Sometimes it gets a little crazy, but we'll just kind of if we can get the whole band, and we'll just structure it where not everyone's talking over each other. It'd be sick to get the whole band like in the bus on this show.
That would be really cool. And I know you guys are coming to Lincoln July 11th. I think it's the 1867.
That just got switched because sadly Cosmic Eyes shutting down. So we're at 1867.
Hell yeah. I'm going to try and come out. That's like 40 minutes from us, so I'm going to try and come out and see you guys.
Hit us up, cool. Come out early. We'll fucking hang out. We'll fucking guest you, listen to you, whatever, man. We'll hang out. We'll all beat the shit out of Coop before the show.
Good.
It'll be sick.
Good. Hell yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining us. Again, we'd love to have you back. Can't wait for the new album. I'm beyond stoked for this. We're gonna do an album review of that when it comes out and tell you guys exactly our favorite parts and the things that blew our minds. So we'll tag you in that when it comes out.
I was gonna say, if you're watching this and even you, Jeff, you did it too early, brother.
Somebody's getting fired.
On you. No. I was gonna say, and we can close off on this.
By the tools.
Yeah, if you're watching or whatever, if you want to, if you go to our Facebook, click those three little dots, invite like your friends list to our Facebook page. It's like we're not going to pay Facebook, right?
Right.
You invite your friends list, people will come. Also, if you watch the latest music video, the horror movie one, make a reaction video, upload it on your socials. We'll reshare it. We'll send people your way. That'd be sick.
Hell yeah, dude.
We'll make a store, we'll make a share, and I am going to log in as the MM podcast and hit those three buttons for you. Exactly.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
That.
Thanks for the support, guys.
Too,
Good luck with everything.
All ships.
What?
I said high tide raises all ships.
Fuck yeah, brother. Well, thanks for
hanging out. On their tour. Fuck, you guys are going everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. So you really can't miss them. What is this? It's the mechanical. What is this tour? Mechanical Necrosis tour. Hell yeah, that's
brutal.
And it's not announced yet, but we'll be out on the East Coast and the South this fall. So just keep an eye out for that.
Hell yeah.
Rock and roll.
Well, best of luck, boys. Enjoy the wrestling. Have fun.
Yeah, let me tell you another thing. When we get out there on the mat, it's one thing that Leaping Lanny Puffle ain't sure for, brother.
Don't get slammed through any more doors, okay?
Bring the hammer.
Please. All right, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Yep, bye.
Thank you.